Hi, I'm Kristyn Burtt for LifeScript.com. On November 13, 2008, Jamie Schanbaum's life changed forever. She went from being a sophomore at the University of Texas to fighting for her life 14 hours after contracting meningococcal meningitis. I spoke with Jamie about her battle with meningitis, how it mimics flu symptoms, and why it's so important for teens to get vaccinated.
Jamie, your story is incredible. Can you just take us back to that moment when you were 20 years old and weren't feeling so well?
Yes. Meningitis is a really fast-killing disease. It typically kills within 24 hours, and I was in that case of being admitted within 14 hours. I mean, I don't know what would have happened if I didn't. Obviously, there could have been some really bad situations in the end. But, that night it was very, confusing because it was so simple from I'm not feeling well to being nauseous to vomiting all night to the next morning being progressively worse. I'm not capable of walking. I'm shivering down in my bones. I'm insanely weak. I can't hold myself up. And by the time I was admitted into the hospital, I couldn't walk anymore.
And that's the thing. It's the flu scenario that we all go through where you're like, I'm just really sick.
It's so common to be misdiagnosed as a flu because the first symptoms are like you're not feeling well to the sense of, nauseous, vomiting, the shakes. Very common symptoms that I think everyone can experience when they're sick. So that's why we encourage the vaccine, because just to stop and prevent what's preventable with this terrible, terrible disease. And that was my first semester at the University of Texas, my dream college, and it had to be, put on pause for a little bit just so I can recover and then to learn how to walk on prosthetic legs. I mean, no one does that at the age of 20. And I really hope no one else, goes through that. So make sure you get that vaccine and prevent what's preventable.
Now, did you have the initial vaccine and then didn't have the booster? Do you know in your medical history if that happened?
Yes, in Texas, the 7th grade mandatory vaccination for 7th graders. So yes, I did have it. And then I didn't ask about it. My parents didn't ask about it. It wasn't mentioned to me in my doctor's office. And, I still have the same healthcare physician from before I got sick to after. And, when he found out, he called and he visited me and he was just in shock about how this disease, as my own primary care physician, was able to take over me.
It's really kind of shocking that there's a vaccine and then there's a booster, and that's a very simple solution to it.
Exactly. And it's so important because you're a higher risk category at those ages, because they call it herding, so you're hanging out together in close quarters, sharing everything. And, when you're hanging out like that, your chances of getting this disease are higher.
How is your health now? Do you suffer any repercussions or anything?
It's great. The only thing I have to deal with, which, arguably is a big one, are my prosthetics. And so I just, I put my legs on every day, like you put your shoes on every day. And that's about it. You become blind, deaf, have mental challenges. You can have internal organ failures. So meningitis definitely can take a toll on someone and leave some permanent consequences from being unvaccinated.
Well, we are so happy you're here and healthy
Thank you.
and spreading the word.
Yes, exactly.
So nice to meet you, Jamie.
Nice to meet you too.